Now, here's a mystery that truly refuses to fade. For more than 600 years, people have been asking the same question. What exactly is the Shroud of Turin? Well, it's a long piece of linen cloth, just over 14 feet long and 3.5 feet wide, housed in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy. On it, faintly visible, is the front and back image of a man who appears to have been beaten, crucified, and pierced. A man who matches in every detail the wounds of Jesus of Nazareth. There are no pigments, no brushstrokes, no signs of human artistry. Under ultraviolet light and modern AI scanning, the image behaves unlike any known photograph, painting, or scorch. The fibers show changes only on the surface, as though light itself etched the image without burning through the cloth. Now, historians have debated it, scientists have studied it, skeptics, well, they dismiss it, and believers weep before it. But whatever one believes about its origin, one truth remains unshaken. The Shroud of Turin continues to speak to science, to faith, and to the human heart. And maybe, just maybe, we've been asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, how did it happen? Perhaps we should be asking, why did it happen? Why would the image of love itself be left behind on a burial cloth? Why would light choose to remember? Well, this is the cloth that saw everything. What if the face of love itself was burned into a piece of cloth, not by fire, but by resurrection? You know, in the cold silence of that ancient tomb, the world stood still. The stone door was heavy, the air thick with sorrow, and inside lay a simple piece of linen, frayed at the edges, rough woven, the kind used for wrapping the dead. It had no royal thread, no gold, no glory, just the imprint of a man, limp, lifeless, and torn. The shoulders that once carried a cross now rested motionless. The hands that healed lepers, blessed children, and touched the blind now lay still. But if you could have seen through that darkness, you would have witnessed something creation had never seen before. For that linen was not wrapping an ordinary man. It held the body of the living Word. The same Word that said, "Let there be light," was about to speak light again, this time from the heart of death itself. Now, this is the moment light kissed the darkness. They sealed the tomb to keep him in, but you can't imprison light. There, in the stillness, something began to stir. The laws of physics appeared to have bowed. The silence bent, and suddenly light erupted. Not sunlight, not torchlight. This was living light, conscious, divine, unstoppable. It burst from within the body of Jesus with such intensity that it passed through the linen, leaving behind the most mysterious image in human history. No pigment, no flame, No human touch, just light. Love made visible. Now, that's what the scientists still can't explain. Maybe because it wasn't just light. Maybe it was love remembering love. You know, faith often begins not with sight, but with the courage to look where others refuse. And 3 days later, a woman named Mary Magdalene approached the tomb. The morning mist clung to her robe. Her heart was breaking. She came expecting death and found something that defied it. The stone was rolled away. The air shimmered with silence. And there it lay, the linen, folded neatly. And at first, she saw nothing unusual, but as dawn crept in, she saw it. The faint outline of his face, not carved by hands, not stained by human heart, just there, as if the light itself remembered him. Well, she fell to her knees, not because she understood, but because she knew love was alive again. And faith and science are not enemies in this endeavor. They're two languages describing the same miracle. The shroud has been examined for decades, x-rayed, photographed, magnified 1,000 times. But what they've found is extraordinary. The image carries three-dimensional data, as though compassion itself has depth. Every curve of his face, every drop of blood, every mark from the thorns, all recorded with atomic precision. It's not just an image, it's information. It's the divine data transfer, heaven encoding hope into cloth. But here's the greater truth. It wasn't left for scientists to decode. It was left for humanity to remember. To remember that love has dimension, that mercy leaves a mark. You know, there's a hidden code in the linen, and even light obeyed him. Even linen bore witness. The image only reaches the top 2 microfibers of each thread, never deep enough to burn, only deep enough to transform. And that's how divine gentleness works, right? When God touches something, he doesn't destroy it. He redefines it. He leaves his fingerprint without erasing its humanity. That's what resurrection is. Not an explosion that consumes, but illumination that redeems. And the same light that passed through that cloth can pass through your pain. And when it does, it leaves behind your new image in him. Now, the shroud doesn't just show Jesus. I believe it shows us. The bruises, well, they're the wounds of every person ever betrayed. The crown of thorns, well, that's the anxieties that torment every restless mind. The nail marks, for every time we've been trapped by fear, guilt, or shame. Yes, the face remains calm. It looks peaceful, because love, when tested by death, never panics. It simply waits for the moment to rise. And the shroud is not a memorial of suffering. It's a portrait of victory. A love story written in linen. And if you listen closely, the linen itself still speaks. It says, I've seen the worst humanity can do, and love still won. It says, I've touched death, and it didn't win. It says, the same light that remembered him will remember you. Because every act of forgiveness reignites resurrection light. Every moment of compassion burns his image anew. Every time you love, the miracle happens again. And if the cloth itself were to pray, I believe it would say, Lord, I once wrapped your body in darkness, but now I carry your light. Let that light pass through every heart that suffers. Leave your image in us until the whole world shines with your love. So, friends, the Shroud of Turin is more than an artifact. It's a message, a memory, a mirror. It's God's way of saying, when you think the light has gone out, I left proof that it never will. It's not just the story of Jesus. It's the story of us, torn, scarred, but destined to shine, because love did not stay buried. And light, well, light never forgets. God bless you, my friends.